Hello, today we'll be looking at tests for gases. This applies to GCSE and A Level. These are four important gases that they expect you to know the test for: hydrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide and chlorine. Let's look at the results when we are testing for these gases. If you produce hydrogen by adding magnesium to an acid, hydrogen gas is produced. The test for hydrogen is the squeaky pop test. The way you do the test is you collect the hydrogen gas and you put a lead splint near the gas and it makes a squeaky pop sound. The test for oxygen is relighting a gloving splint. A gloving splint is a splint that has got fire in it, but what you do is you blow the fire out and it's got an orange head, so that's gloving. If you put it back in the test tube that's full of oxygen, it relights again. How do you make it? You use manganese dioxide and you decompose to make oxygen. The next test you need to know is for carbon dioxide. And the test itself is it turns lime water milky or cloudy. How do you make carbon dioxide? You get calcium carbonate, which is like a marble chips, and you react it with hydrochloric acid or any acid. And once you do the reaction, you will be able to collect carbon dioxide gas. The final test they expect you to know is chlorine. You don't need to know how to make it, but chlorine bleaches the paper. However, it goes red because chlorine is slightly acidic, and then it turns white. And if they ask you in the exam why red and then white, is red is because it's slightly acidic and white because it bleaches the paper. Now we're going to look for test of ions in solutions. So we have cations, which are positively metal charge ions, and then we have anions, which are negative ions for non-metals. In this picture, you will see there are precipitates of different metal ions when the metal solution has been added to sodium hydroxide. So you have got different iron and copper in the photo as precipitate. So as shown in the previous picture, you could see precipitate solutions, and what you do is you have the metal, you add sodium hydroxide solution to that, and then they form precipitate. The word precipitate means it falls out solution, they're not soluble. On the other hand, if you have solutions of aluminium, calcium and magnesium ions, they all form white precipitate, which can be a problem. So how do we go about finding out which of these three metals are actually present? One way to do that is if you have aluminium hydroxide and you add excess sodium hydroxide to it, it will dissolve the precipitate, and then you're left with calcium and magnesium. So what you can do is you can do a flame test, and you know calcium will give you a brick red color, and finally if you have magnesium ions you can use it and it produces bright light. You also got solutions of copper ion, ion 2 and 3, which form colored precipitate as shown in previous slide. And copper forms blue precipitate, iron forms green, and iron 3 forms a brown precipitate. You are expected to know all these tests and the colors. Let's look at the test for non-metal ions this time. And we have got carbonate, which is CO3 2- ion. And if you react any carbonate with acid, it forms carbon dioxide gas, which I just said that you can identify using lime water in the previous slides. You then have halide ions. Halide are basically group 7 non-metals, and if you were to have a look at them, what you can do is add silver nitrate solution with dilute acid, and you will look at the tests. Now they can ask in the exam why you add in an acid. The reason is so no other precipitates form apart from halide ion. So if it's a chloride ion, it makes yellow precipitate. Bromide is cream and iodide is yellow. Again, you will be asked to remember these colors. Finally, got sulphate. Sulphate is SO4 2- ion. If you have in a solution, makes a white precipitate with barium chloride and hydrochloric acid. Let's have a look at what does the picture for the halide ions look like. So these are the precipitate colors for your halide testing. Thank you for listening, and I hope you will find this useful for your GCSE exams. This is mainly for paper 2, and don't forget to subscribe. See you next time. Bye.